The strength of the Sea-Not Bush Kingdom lies not in our walls, but in our people. March to war.
Carlo. Carol, not Carlo. Carol. Hey, thank you so much for the raid. Give my soul. Carlo works too. Okay. Hey, Carlo. Hey, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, raiders. Come on in. Thank you very much. If you're new coming in, my name is Sea-Not Bush. I make sculptures by hand here, start to finish. We're working on this pirate character. This is Captain Sabertooth. My version of him. Just adding some like accessories and stuff onto the jacket. But, thank you. Here's a show you guys something else we got in the works here. We got all kinds of projects in the works. This is another one. This is a blue dragon wall hanging piece. Yeah, thank you. So what were you up to there, Carlo? What were you doing? What have you been doing? Fantasy art? Okay. Well, that's all it takes for me to follow. Let's see. Let me make, let's see if maybe I already am. I'm not. There we go. Cool. If you couldn't tell, I'm a connoisseur of fantasy art, so I do enjoy the realm of medieval fantasy. I paint oils and digital today. We did watercolor, though I'm also promoting my Kickstarter. I'm a freelance fantasy artist and singer too. Okay, variety. What are you doing for your Kickstarter? Like some sort of story or maybe an art book or something? Runic Oracle deck with Norse gods and goddesses. Okay, cool. Is it already launched? How's it doing? How would I suggest somebody gets into what I do as a hobby? You start, anything you want to do in life, break it down into one step at a time, okay? So the first step is to learn what materials you need to get. Then you need to get the materials. And then you need to start working. I actually have a free full project class where you can follow along step by step and learn the way I do things, and that'll at least get the ball rolling for you. So definitely check that out. There's the link. Nightbot just linked it in chat there. But we did the classes live. Those are the recordings of the classes, and it's a very thorough step-by-step, no blanks to fill type of tutorial. So if you go through that, and the first episode I go over materials and stuff like that. So that's honestly the best way to learn. So if you can just follow along with something step by step. I know in my early, especially the very beginning days, I did the same thing, except there wasn't YouTube videos or live streams. There was forums where people would post tutorials with just images for each step. So nowadays it's even a little bit easier with the video format. Yeah. check it out. It's a free resource. Doesn't get better than that. How long does it take to finish one? Usually a single character piece from start to finish. So from concept all the way to the painting and finishing is about 180 hours of work, typically. Sometimes slower, sometimes quicker. Yeah, if you can get the basic steps down of creating something with clay, then you can start branching off and applying those steps onto whatever you want to do, you know. But I think it's really good to get a good foundation, because what's gonna happen, this is what happens if you just kind of go off on your own initially, which, I mean, lots of people do that. It's just, you could be reinventing the wheel, you know. Could be getting hung up or stuck on things that have a simple answer. You just don't have the experience to know what the answer is. So when you learn from somebody else, the answers that took years to obtain can just be given to you. So if you follow along with the tutorial, you'll be years ahead, essentially. Maybe months ahead, months to years ahead in that process. So there's a lot of little simple tricks and things that I do that just took years for me to come to the conclusion or to figure out, you know. That's just how it is. So you can go the path of just doing it whatever you want all by yourself, but that's the slow road, you know. Don't understand why the creative side Twitch isn't the more popular side. It's an amazing wealth of information for people who have put it in the reps. Yeah, it's just let's see, I think the art world has never really been the majority, right? So there's always been more people that are not into that stuff than there has been people that are into that stuff. So I don't know, it makes sense to me. So plus you got you got a lot of younger people. I think when you're younger, you're less inclined to absorb things that are not really beneficial for. I don't know. I definitely know as you get older, you start getting interested in things that are more take time to, you know, to absorb. Like gardening, stuff like that. As all those youngsters start to get older and desire something of sustenance, we'll be here waiting for them. Right, because you know, once you've lived life long enough, you realize that the things that take some time to understand or to learn are the most fulfilling. Then you just have like a, you start to crave that kind of stuff. At least that's been my experience. I mean, Twitch could do the favor of allowing nude art again for like a week. That really helped. That was a good month for us. It really was. It was probably my best month all year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's that the problem is there's no way to write the rules in a way that will allow a classy use of nudity over a not classy use. You know what I'm saying? There'll always be the people that push the limits of the rules, you know? There's no way to allow artistic nudes without allowing twerking compilation. You know what I mean? So it's just too hard. It's too hard to write rules out in a way that, even though everyone deep down inside knows the difference between like a life drawing nude over the other side of the fence. Everyone knows the difference, but you have to be able to write the rules very clearly to distinguish the difference, and there's just no real way to do that. So so hot tub stream went. Yeah, there just comes a point where you just can't write rules clear enough to distinguish between super fine lines, you know what I mean? Right. Yeah, that's totally why they took it away. Twitch in their I don't know how they came to this conclusion that the internet could be civilized enough to allow it, but yeah, I was at an art show. My 3/4 nude bronze was okay, but a drawing of a dress unzipped showing a booty and a thong was a no-go. Yeah, see, it's like context matters, I guess. Right, exactly, Colleen. Yeah. Yeah. But I will say, we had a lot of people coming in here and really liking what I was doing, and a lot of support. It did bring a lot of attention to the art category for that. There was a lot of good that came out of that. But yeah, it couldn't stay. Because in the end, it would end up hurting the creative category if they just allowed things to go as they were going. It would end up being a detriment. Clayton. Oh, if I actively ignore a kingdom word of the day, it becomes the most memorable for everyone, especially Clayton. Well, you know, there's space, there should be spaces for all things, right? And I think Twitch Creative is just not the space for that kind of stuff. It needs to be a lot bigger. That word is going to be here forever now, I know, right? Right, but how do you write the rules on that new site that doesn't let it get out of control? That's the big question, the conundrum. That is the question. It would all have to be filtered through personal. It all have to be filtered through some sort of person that can accurately determine the context. Otherwise it'll just get out of hand. Also, if they used to have their own separate site a long time ago for non-gaming content. That was called Justin TV. When I started streaming, Justin TV was still around, but to me it was kind of suffering from the same problem of people just streaming all kinds of things that shouldn't be streamed, and it just degraded into non-existence. So I didn't start streaming on Justin TV. I started on Twitch because to me it was already a sinking ship. And I became the first non-gaming partner on Twitch, which kind of opened the door for all the non-gaming stuff we have now. Yeah, it's a fine line, unfortunately. Not easy to draw that line. I honestly feel for people, the people that have to try and write the rules and determine how the internet as a whole is going to absorb those rules and what they're going to be able to, how they're going to be able to manipulate past them, push them to the limits. Not easy. That was a big, thick line. Let's see what we're doing here. Generator. Right, there's still ways, you know, or like, for example, using more of an enclosed environment streaming platform like can you live stream on Patreon? Right, yep. I don't think they do. And OnlyFans, that's true. Yeah. There are places for it, at least. Just not on Twitch. Yeah, and what Colleen says is true. There's a whole other side of this that they're having to weigh in the balances, like certain payment providers, like credit card or the ones that process card payments and stuff, will like decline services to places that allow certain types of content because they don't want to be associated with those things. It's not because they have morality, it's because there's like actual dollar differences based on like taxes and all that stuff. So it's not because they won't it's not because they actually care, it's because it hurts their bottom line. So certain payment providers will actually if something starts getting on that borderline of like adult content, they will not want to provide services for that platform anymore because it costs them more, like significantly more to do transactions. And also from Twitch's perspective, you have advertisers and all kinds of, you know, companies involved that will be less likely to want to be involved if it starts to get a reputation for certain types of content. So YouTube is terrible if you're in the UK. If you are a UK streamer, they expect you to register your business. In the US? Really? Interesting. I know Germany has something like that, and you even gotta pay like a fee for it. It's pretty nuts. Alright, I think that'll work pretty good. PC boot drive. Uh-oh. What? Oh, yeah. Vika. Hello, Vika. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Crazy thing is AI is certainly smart enough to know that humans cannot consume glue safely. And that it's giving them those answers. Maybe a little human mockery already happening. All right, Colleen. Have a great weekend. We'll catch you later. True. But it knows that glue is not a food. If a 4-year-old child knows that glue is not food, AI certainly does. Until that the majority of 4-year-old children's, we'll say. Checkmate. Look, we always like to use the exception to the rule to prove or disprove things, but that's not how it works. There's the rule, which is the majority of the cases, and then the exception to the rule is just the exception. The paste eater kid is the exception, not the rule. It's just like when I say that nobody's born with a talent. You know, talent and skill has to be earned through determination, hard work, and anybody's capable of doing it. And then there's always that one person that, well, what about this one? What about those people that just pick something up for the first time and they're like a savant? It's like, all right, come on. That's the exception to the rule, all right? They're like 1 in a billion case, okay? Let's not make our whole way of thinking about something revolve around the exception to the rule. But instead, majority of the time, any human being can learn sculpture. They, tried to better themselves at it for long enough, you'll become good at it. It's just the way it is. A Shavant? Nice. Red ticket. Very good. I don't like that view on skills because it stops. I just don't like when people stop themselves from going out and trying to achieve something that they want, that they have a desire to do. Yeah, I want to be a sculptor, but alas, I was not born with the skills to do so. It's like, okay, well, let's remove that idea. Start fresh. You can do it. I tried sculpting once and I was bad at it, so I didn't continue. It's like, no, you're thinking about it all wrong. We're all bad at it when we start. Every single one of us. Well, we've all had the experience of like playing a game that's challenging compared to playing a game that's just really super easy and no challenge at all. You being bad at it is like playing the challenging game, and you're more likely to get into it more. A game that challenges you, you tend to play a lot more than a game that's just really easy. So it's a good thing that you're bad at it when you start. Talent will only get you through high school. Yeah, well, and I would argue that I bet you that kid that was very talented probably had a lot more just arts and crafts time as a child, had more experience somewhere, somehow. I just know from my experience, because I was one of those talented kids in high school doing sculpture, but it's because I had way more sculpting than the average kid by that point in my life. I wasn't starting at the same start point as everyone else. I had gotten into sculpture quite a lot through my younger years, so it was just simply that I had more experience. Small pond syndrome. Yeah. That's true, Syrup. Yeah, that's true. I remember experiencing a bit of that. I've had phases where I was a big fish in a small pond, and then, surprise, you're a tiny fish. Right. The easiest way to work hard, too, is to be proud and passionate about the work that you do, you know? When you have that desire to be a hard worker, you know, because you just want to, instead of trying to brute force it, force yourself to. Hey, what's up, Knock? How you doing? Off-topic question, but what's your opinion on glass eyes for sculpts? I think when they're done well, they look good. My complication with using glass eyes for sculptures is once you have the glass eye, it's hard to make the face fit the eye, if that makes sense, because you can't change, once you have the glass eye, you can't change the size of it. And in this particular scale, even just a little bit of too much is a lot too much with like something like an eye, or a little bit too little is a lot too little. That's the thing about when you get smaller in scale, there's less margin for error as far as like the proportion of things. So when you use glass eyes, or if you do, you would have to really make the whole project revolve around the eye. So you would get your glass eyes to start, and you would base all your characters' proportions off of the eye, because you cannot change the eye. So that's how you would have to work using glass eyes. I don't know. I just never. It's just something I just haven't really explored, but I've thought about it. I've used pre-made eyes before, and that's just always the problem with them. Hey, Timber, thanks for the raid, my friend. I appreciate that. All right, man. Hey, have a great weekend. Okay, Carlo. Thank you for the raid as well. Nice chatting with you. Right. That's true, Corin. There is a problem with UV resin too, though, that makes things a little bit hard. But absolutely not. Go right ahead, my friend. It's always best to get those discussions going earlier, sooner rather than later. So. And I'm always up for a challenge. Always. Well, so the hard part with the UV resin is, let's say you have an eye where this character is a good example. If you have an eye where the eyelid, see the eyelid here, is intersecting the iris, then I cannot put a drop there, because what will happen is if the drop of UV resin touches that eyelid, it will distort and now look bad. you know, like a water drop. It'll just kind of like, it'll pull up to that eyelid, and then now all of a sudden your nice little sphere, a little drop shape you have, is now all distorted and looks really like he's got like this weird teary eye, you know. So yeah, so really what you'd have to do, and I did this before, actually on Nock's first piece, I made the eyes so they would come out. So I sculpted it like this, but I made it so they would, like, you could essentially take the eyeball out and then apply the UV resin and then insert it back in. Something like that. So there's limitations there too, yeah, with the UV resin. I just have when I sculpt the eyes in like this, I just have an easier time making them look natural because of that ability to kind of shift and adjust things around. Oh, cool. Little lazy Susan. If I was you, I would try to wire the, if you can, since it's on if it's gonna be there and it's not gonna be moving, try and get like a setup where you can wire, like hardwire it to a plug-in. Then you don't have to worry about changing batteries all the time. Well, that's a good idea. I'll write that down in my book. Custom lazy Susans, you know, where you take like your standard you have your standard plug-in lazy Susan here, but imagine it like designed all the way around to look like stone or something like that matches the piece that's gonna stand on it. And then it could even have LED lights added to it. Let me write that down. That's a good one. That's two new ideas in one day. There's a pencil. It's always these casual Fridays when the ideas are flowing. Let's use a pen, I guess. Today I get the wisdom. this chest that people have to put their phones in, but if you set it up so there's plugins so their phones can be charging while they're playing. Isn't that nice? So you have to design it in a way that the inside of the box there's like multiple charging cables coming through. So they plug their phone in, stick it in the box. There you go. Ba-boom. A Dungeon Master phone box. The medicine's being sweetened. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Let's add our texture onto this collar here. I think it's looking pretty good. Got like a really big over the top jacket collar. Man, I need to start making a dungeon D&D room props. There's a lot of good ideas that can come from that. Hey, what's up, no comply? Morgoth's in the oven. I actually have to go get him. He's probably done. Morgoth, the pirate. You can sculpt it on the glass, yeah, because the glass can go in the oven just fine. You just have to design whatever you're sculpting on the glass. Try to design it in a way that it kind of wraps around the glass a little bit. So it's like mechanically locked to the glass. If it's just like, say it's like a glass bottle like this, and you have just like a floating object kind of sculpted like this. My only concern would be that this would, you know, you sculpt it and you bake it and then this would like come off because it's, you know, it's not really anything it can grip onto. But if you like create a design that goes kind of like this and like goes around the whole bottle, you know, then it doesn't matter if it slips, if it's mechanically kind of locked to the bottle, you know, and it goes some sort of design that goes all the way around somehow. Or yeah, or you could sculpt it on like this and then intentionally remove it, and then glue it to something that will really stick to the glue. Or something that, yeah, something that would stick to the glass, not the glue. Sorry. If you're super careful, you could drill a small hole in the bottle on both sides. That could work too, because that gives it like a Lego piece to grab onto. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna use this coarse bristle brush to add some texture. Have I played Sekiro? I have not. I do have the troll shopping. I have to finish it. I'm gonna gift that to my my father-in-law. And yeah, that will be, so I made that on a block of wood. It'll be removed from the wood and then somehow glued onto the bottle. There's definitely glues that will stick to glass because every glass bottle you buy has a label on it, and that's stuck on with glue. So yeah, I do. You want me to grab it? This is pretty much done anyway, so I have to get this in the oven now. Yep, sure. Let's grab it. There's the idea. We only ended up a little bit bigger. I mean, pretty close. I was thinking this could be displayed in two ways. It can hang on the wall, or it can even just sit on a like on a table that's against the wall, since it fits right in a corner. So. Yeah. No, it'll definitely be, even though the dragons right now looks really detailed, the focal point will be drawn right here because especially because of the lights. So we're gonna use a filament LED light. This will be the first time I use one of these, but if you look inside of like a filament bulb, like one of these here, it's like almost like a long tube where the whole thing is lit up. So it's gonna be quite awesome. So we'll have the filament light going from here to the ship, and we just, make it look all epic. So once the wings are done on the dragon, the next step will be to create the ship, the capsizing ship, and to I actually use the same material. I use cotton, but you soak the cotton in like Mod Podge, and it just creates like a really really flowy looking. It's mixed media, and then there'll be some embroidery floss with glue to create like lightning bolts. But yeah, you do the cotton soaked in the Mod Podge, and when it dries, it's almost like it's kind of like resin, similar. As for the water, I'm not too sure what we're gonna do for that just yet. There's all kinds of different ways to approach water, so okay. Well, dinner bell is ringing. We just got done with the collar on our pirate. So his next stage on his jacket's done. The Morgoth's belly armor is finished. So we can start the next part of him next Friday. And yeah, time for me to go eat. So time for me to get going. Yeah, no problem, Knock. Yeah, no problem. It's been a pleasure to create another piece for you, my friend. Yeah, I'm gonna get out of here, everybody. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you for the support. There will be stream this Sunday. We'll be continuing our class. I'll be Sunday 9 a.m. Central Time. I'll be teaching you guys how to create scenic bases, environmental bases with mixed media. So a lot of different materials and techniques to go over, but it's I'm telling you, once you see the materials I use and how I use them, it's not hard. It's really not hard, and it creates a really good result. So if you want to learn about basing your sculptures, join us. And if you miss it, the recording will be saved forever, so you can always catch up on it. It'll be part of the project playlist. So, and there'll be we'll need 2 weekends to do the base, and you'll understand why. It's because there's a lot of drying time involved with that. So first week is kind of like building the basic shapes, getting all the way to the point where we apply the Mod Podge, or the sculpt and mold, sorry, to based. Yeah, it's gonna be good. And yeah, I don't got anything else going on. So big thank you to everybody that's chipped in on our car fund. We're actually, I think, very, very close. Only like 270 more bucks, and we finished the goal. So thank you everyone who has chipped in on that. And if anyone would like to help us get some new wheels, definitely click the link there in the chat, and I do appreciate it. Let's find somebody to raid, and I'm gonna get on out of here. Let's see. Weekend. I'm excited to get into the garden this weekend and really get some work in there. The garden calls. Let's go raid Mr. Miniature's Den. This guy's miniature painting work is quite amazing. I'll learn some painting tricks from him. All right. Till next time, my friends. Bye-bye.